y'all, it's Kim. So this will be the Senate torture report, and I gotta look at the actual name on this one. It's so long. It's this is video like 39 of this. So let me go to the picture. Sorry, I had to give me just a second of the actual name because it's pretty long. Where did it go? Hopefully I didn't delete it because it's long. Hmm. That's it. Hope not. Because my phone's constantly telling me you're out of storage. From what? Okay, so it's actually called the report of the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence Committee study of the Central Intelligence Agency's detention and interrogation program. And then remember, after 9/11, many suspected terrorists were detained for extended periods and tortured, according to this report. And we're on page 380 out of 712. So it's a pretty long document. That's why there's so many videos. But anyway, let's get into this. It says on May 30th, 2005, the OLC, I think that's the Office of Legal Counsel or something like that, issued a memorandum concluding that the use of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques against CIA detainees did not violate Article 16 of the Convention Against Torture. In a memorandum, Principal Deputy Assistant Attorney General Steve G. Bradbury used the example of Janet Gull, I guess, as a detainee who was representative of the high-value detainees on whom enhanced interrogations techniques had been or might be used, citing information from the CIA's August 25th, 2005 letter. Bradbury wrote, the CIA believed that Janet Gull, whatever, I can't pronounce this guy's name, had actionable intelligence concerning the pre-election threat to the United States. Gull had extensive connections to various Al-Qaeda leaders, members of the Taliban, and the Al-Zarqawi, that's hard to say, network, and intelligence indicated that Gull had arranged a meeting between a redacted source and Al Qaeda finance chief Sheikh Saeed, at which elements of the pre election threat were discussed. As noted, the CIA had represented that the use of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques was necessary for Janet Gull to provide information on an imminent threat to the United States. The pre election threat, as further noted, Gull did not provide this information, and records indicate that the threat was based on fabricated CIA source reporting. When the OLC requested the results of using the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques against Janet Gull, the CIA represented that Gull had provided information that has helped the CIA with validating one of its key assets, reporting on the pre-election threat. This information was included in the May 30th, 2005 OLC memorandum, which also stated that Gull's information contradicted the asset's contention that Gull met with Sheikh Saeed, and that armed with Gull's assertions, the CIA redacted the asset, who then admitted that he had lied about the meeting. There are no indications in the memorandum that the CIA informed the OLC that CIA officers had concluded that Gull had no information about the pre-election threat and had determined that Gull was not the man we thought he was. As noted, after the May 30th, 2005 OLC memorandum, the CIA continued to represent that the use of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques allowed the CIA to validate sources. The identification and arrest of Uzair and Saifullah Paracha. The CIA represented that information obtained through the use of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques produced otherwise unavailable intelligence that led to the identification and or arrest of Uzair Paracha and his father Saifullah Paracha, aka Saif al-Rahman Paracha, I may not be saying those names right, but it sounds good to me. Okay. These CIA representations include inaccurate information and omit significant material information, specifically a body of intelligence reported acquired prior to the CIA detainee reporting that linked the Parachas to Al Qaeda related activities. Let me turn this phone. Okay, I just have to make sure. CIA representations also credit the use of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques with the identification of a plot to smuggle explosives into the United States involving the Parachas. The CIA records indicate that the plotting was denied by the supposed participants and that at least one senior CIA counterterrorism official questioned the plausibility of the explosive smuggling plot, given the relative ease of acquiring explosive material in the United States. How the hell is that possible? Okay, the CIA provided information to the CIA Office of Inspector General that EITs, including the Water Board, have been indispensable to our successes and stated that the CIA OIG special review should have come to the conclusion that our efforts have thwarted attacks and saved lives. The CIA further represented to the OIG that KSM, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, provided information that helped lead to the arrest of Uzair Paracha, a smuggler, and that as a result of the lawful use of EITs, KSM identified a mechanism for Al Qaeda to smuggle explosives into the United States via a Pakistani businessman and textile merchant who shipped his material to the U.S. The businessman had agreed to use this method to help Al Qaeda smuggle in explosives for follow-on attacks to 9/11. Similarly, on July 29, 2003, the CIA made a presentation to a select group of National Security Council principals, including Vice President Cheney, seeking policy reaffirmation of the CIA interrogation program. The CIA briefing materials state that the use of the CIA interrogation techniques has produced significant results and warn that termination of this CIA program will result of loss in life, possibly extensive. The CIA conveyed that major threats were countered and attacks averted, and under a briefing slide entitled Results Major Threat Info, represented the information obtained from KSM after the use of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques led to the identification of Saifullah Paracha. A widely disseminated CIA intelligence assessment entitled Detainee Reporting Pivotal for the War Against Al Qaeda that was described in internal CIA emails as being put together using past assessments and initially intended for the White House only with marching orders to throw everything in it. The states since 11th of September 2001, detainee reporting has become a crucial pillar of U.S. counterterrorism efforts, aiding operations to capture additional terrorists, helping to thwart terrorist plots. The KSM's revelation in March of 2003 that he was plotting with Saif al-Rahman Paracha, who also used the name Saifullah al-Rahman Paracha to smuggle explosives into the United States for a planned attack in New York, prompted the FBI to investigate Paracha's business ties in the United States. CIA representations related to the identification of the Parachas and or the arrest of Uzair Paracha, as well as the identification of an explosive smuggling plot, omit significant information acquired by the intelligence community prior to any reporting from CIA detainees. Specifically, prior to KSM's reporting, the intelligence community had already collected or acted upon significant information related to the Paracha family's connections to Al Qaeda and international terrorism. Information on Saifullah Paracha was found in documents seized during a March 28, 2002 raid against Al Qaeda targets associated with Hassan Gol. Did they spell that name wrong? I don't know. Anyway, which resulted in the capture of Abu Zubaydah. The documents identified Saifullah Paracha, the spelling found in the documents seized during the raid, and phone numbers, which would be associated with his Karachi-based business, International Merchandise, I guess, Private Limited. As early as April 2002, an address associated with the business was also identified. The name Saifullah Paracha was provided to Pakistani officials by the CIA in December of 2002. The CIA wrote, information below leads us to believe that the following individual and phone numbers may have a connection to Al Qaeda and international terrorism. We request your assistance in investigating this individual to determine if he's involved in terrorist activity. The request included 3 phone numbers found in the documents seized on March 28, 2002, one of which was associated with Saifullah Paracha's Karachi-based company, International Merchandise Private Limited, I guess. In April 2002, the FBI opened an investigation on another, redacted, at a New York-based business associated with Saifullah Paracha. During the course of the investigation, the FBI interviewed an employer at a New York address and acquired additional information on the business and the Parachas. Redacted business card identifying him as an employee of International Merchandise Limited was found among documents seized during the April 2002 Karachi raid. Months later, financial documents seized during the September 11, 2002 raids that resulted in the capture of Ramzi bin al-Shib identified an email address attributed to International Merchandise Private Limited with the same contact, Saifullah A. Paracha, as well as the same address and phone numbers the business identified after the March 2002 raid. Based on the information obtained during the September 2002 raids, the CIA informed the FBI, the NSA, and the Department of Treasury that they suspected Saifullah Paracha was engaged in terrorist financing activities, specifically for Al Qaeda. The cable included detailed information on Saifullah Paracha and International Merchandise Private Limited in Karachi, and noted the CIA's ongoing interest in and analysis of the information. FBI investigative activity of terrorism suspect Ayman Faris found that Faris was linked to Paracha imports via his Ohio-based housemates. Majid Khan, who was in foreign government custody, provided reporting that Uzair ran the New York branch of his father's Karachi-based import-export business. According to the reporting, Uzair was assisting Majid Khan and Ammar al-Baluchi in their efforts to resettle Majid Khan in the United States for terrorism-related purposes. Holy moly. Khan provided a detailed physical description of both Uzair and his father. KSM was captured on March 1st, 2003. On March something of 2003, KSM was rendered to CIA custody and immediately subjected to the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques. A CIA interrogation report from March 24, 2003 states that during the afternoon, KSM continued to be subjected to the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques, including the waterboard, for failing to provide information on operations in the United States and for having lied about poison and biological warfare programs. That evening, KSM's interrogators received reports on information being provided by Majid Khan who was in foreign government custody and being interviewed by FBI special agents and foreign government officers. I mean, these people are just like evil. I just don't understand. The information included details on a U.S. based individual associated with Al Qaeda named Uzair. It's very genocidal, I think. It just like you just have to get rid of people because you don't agree with them. That's nuts. Okay, according to Khan, this Uzair ran the New York branch of his father's Karachi-based import-export business. CIA cables described KSM as being boxed in by reporting from Majid Khan before providing the following information on the Parachas, and a smuggling plot. KSM corroborated reporting from Majid Khan that Ammar al-Baluchi and Majid Khan approached Uzair Paracha for assistance in resettling Majid Khan in the United States. KSM states that he was close to Uzair's father, Saif al-Rahman Paracha, who provided assistance through his business and by helping to find safe houses in Karachi. KSM claimed that Ammar al-Baluchi and Majid Khan approached Saif al-Rahman Paracha with the plan to use Saif al-Rahman Paracha's textile business to smuggle explosives into the United States. KSM stated that Paracha agreed to this plan and was arranging the details with Ammar al-Baluchi and Majid Khan at the same time, or at the time of his KSM's capture. A later CIA cable provided additional background stating KSM did not volunteer the explosives plot information on Paracha. He provided this reporting only when confronted with details on his role and other information on the plot, which had been provided by detainee Majid Khan, who was in foreign government custody. According to CIA records, on March 28, 2003, at an FBI field office, Uzair Paracha provided significant information to interviewing FBI special agents on his father's links to Al Qaeda and his own efforts to assist Majid Khan's reentry to the United States. Uzair denied knowing anything about an explosive smuggling plot. On April 29, 2003, Ammar al-Baluchi was detained by Pakistani authorities as a result of reporting unrelated to the CIA's detention and interrogation program. Records indicate Ammar al-Baluchi provided significant information prior to being transferred to CIA custody. On May 2, 2003, Ammar al-Baluchi was rendered to CIA custody and immediately subjected to the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques. The CIA stopped using the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques on Ammar al-Baluchi on May 20th, 2003. A June 18th, 2003 cable states that Ammar al-Baluchi denied that he and Saif al-Rahman Paracha agreed to smuggle explosives into the United States. Ammar al-Baluchi stated he only asked Saif al-Rahman Paracha questions and made inquiries about how explosives shipping could be done. Ammar al-Baluchi maintained that he did not take any action based on the discussion. On July 5th, 2003, Saifullah Paracha was detained and redacted in an operation orchestrated by the FBI. Shortly thereafter, Saifullah Paracha was rendered to U.S. base or military custody at Bagram Air Force Base. At Bagram, Saifullah Paracha was questioned by an FBI special agent. The CIA cable from July 17, 2003 relays that Saifullah Paracha stated that Ammar al-Baluchi had asked if he knew a forwarding agent who could ship garments and materials to Europe, which Saifullah Paracha inferred were either explosives or chemicals. Paracha stated he had no information to provide to Ammar al-Baluchi on this topic and that no further action was taken on the matter. With regards to the explosives smuggling reporting, a senior CIA counterterrorism official commented, Again, another KSM op worthy of the lamentable knuckleheads. Why smuggling explosives when you can get them here? Neither fertilizer for bombs or regular explosives are that hard to come by. Ramsey Youssef came to uh, Conus maybe, with a suitcase and $100 and got everything he needed right here. This may be true, but it just seems damn odd to me. Critical intelligence alerting the CIA to Jafar al-Tayyar. The CIA made repeated claims that the use of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques resulted in key intelligence from Abu Zubaydah and KSM on an operative named Jafar al-Tayyar, later identified as Adnan El Shukajuma, something like that. Whatever. Adnan, that's what we're gonna say. These CIA representations frequently asserted that information obtained from KSM after the use of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques resulted in an FBI investigation that prompted Altair to flee the United States. These representations were inaccurate. KSM was captured on March 1st, 2003. Jafar al-Tayyar departed the United States in May of 2001. CIA representations also omitted key contextual facts, including that the intelligence community was interested in the Florida-based Adnan al-Shukrajuma, prior to the detention of the CIA's first detainee. CIA detainee Abu Zubaydah provided a description and information on a KSM associate named Jafar al-Tayyar to federal or FBI special agents in May of 2002, prior to being subjected to the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques. CIA personnel distributed KSM's reporting on Jafar al-Tayyar, stating that KSM fabricated information and inserted al-Tayyar into practically every story, every time with a different role. Other CIA detainee reporting differed from KSM's reporting in significant ways, and CIA records indicate that KSM did not identify al-Tayyar's true name and that it was Jose Padilla in military custody and being questioned by the FBI, who provided al-Tayyar's true name as Adnan El Shukrajuma. I probably still not saying it right, but that's as close as we're going to get. Finally, the CIA attributed to KSM the characterization of al-Tayyar as the next Muhammad Atta, despite clarifications from KSM to the contrary. For example, in the March 2nd, 2005 CIA memorandum with the subject line Effectiveness of the CIA Counter-Terrorist Interrogation Techniques, the CIA responded to a request from the Office of Legal Counsel for the intelligence the agency obtained from detainees who, before their interrogations, were not providing any information of intelligence value. Under a section entitled Results, the CIA stated, CIA use of DOJ approved enhanced interrogation techniques as part of a comprehensive interrogation approach has enabled CIA to disrupt terrorist plots, capture additional terrorists, and collect a high volume of critical intelligence on Al-Qaeda. We believe that intelligence acquired from these interrogations has been a key reason why Al-Qaeda has failed to launch a spectacular attack in the West since the 11th of September 2001. Key intelligence collected from HVD or high-value detainees interrogations after applying interrogation techniques. The CIA then listed Jafar al-Tayyar as one of 11 examples, stating Jafar al-Tayyar is an Al-Qaeda operative who was conducting casing in the U.S. for KSM prior to 9/11. According to KSM and other HVDs, KSM confirmed that he recruited Tayyar, who is still at large. to conduct a major operation against U.S. interests. KSM described Tayar as the next Muhammad Atta, and he was one of the 9/11 hijackers, I believe. Tayar's family is in Florida, and we have identified many of his extremist contacts. Acting on this information, the FBI quickly publicized Tayar's true name and aggressively followed up with his family and friends in the United States, causing Tayar to flee the United States, redacted, and we're actively pursuing his capture. Oops, sorry. In January 2009, the CIA compiled a detailed briefing book, and CIA Director Hayden produced his own prepared remarks for a 3-hour briefing on the CIA's detention and interrogation program for President elect Obama's national security staff. Included in the materials was a document entitled Key Impacts, which states results CIA's use of DOJ approved enhanced interrogation techniques as part of a comprehensive interrogation approach has enabled CIA to disrupt terrorist plots, capture additional terrorists, and collect a high volume of critical intelligence on Al Qaeda. We believe that intelligence acquired from these interrogations has been a key reason why Al Qaeda has failed to launch a spectacular attack in the West since 11th of September 2001. Key intelligence collected from HVD interrogations after applying interrogation techniques. So I'm going to stop here, and then that way we'll be on an even number page. But anyway, y'all have a good day. I may try to record another set of these since we got so much to do, so far to go. But anyway, I will talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Bye.